Laura had always found solace within the walls of her home. But tonight, that sense of security began to unravel. The night unfolded, much like countless others, as she nestled into her bed after a day that felt both long and familiar. Yet, a transformation unfolded the moment Jace and her teenage nephew stepped into the doorway. Or so she believed. She had secured the door. Yet an unsettling sensation lingered in the air. Lovira reclined on her bed, the cool sheets embracing her bare skin. After a day filled with trials and tribulations, she found herself at last in the serene embrace of her home, where peace awaited her weary spirit. The sun sank gracefully on the horizon, enveloping the world in a soft, golden embrace. She exhaled slowly, her breath mingling with the cooler air that slipped through the window. As she allowed herself to unwind, the creak of the nearby floorboards jolted her upright. Her heart fluttered as she cast her eyes toward the doorway. Jace and her teenage nephew stood there, his silhouette softly illuminated by the glow of the hallway light. Jace asked her, a voice gentle yet tinged with intrigue. "What brings you to this hour?" He moved with an air of discomfort, his gaze danced to the side before swiftly returning to hers. "Rest eluded me. As I ventured to quench my thirst, I found myself simply seeking a refreshing glass of water." Lovira knitted her brows together. "The hour grows late. You ought to be asleep," she murmured, gently attempting to dismiss the moment. Yet, Jace remained still. Instead, he ventured a step nearer. With each passing moment, Megan's heart started to beat steadily, echoing in her chest. His gaze held steady, and she instinctively pulled the blanket tighter around her shoulders. "Jason?" she inquired once more, her tone tinged with a careful hesitation. "What are you up to?" He paused at the brink of her abd, his gaze seeking hers, holding for a heartbeat longer than necessary. Laura shifted, feeling a twinge of discomfort under his watchful eyes. And then, in a twist of fate, it unfolded. His gaze flickered downward for a moment, undeniably drawn to her legs. A chill ran down Megan's spine. The realization struck her with great force. He had glimpsed her unadorned skin, her bare thighs. He had glimpsed her presence. There he stood, observing her with intent. Her heart raced with intensity. Megan felt a catch in her throat. "Jason," she exclaimed, her voice soaring with incredulity. "What are you up to?" Jason has eyes. DD turned away, his face turning a shade of crimson. Before he could finish, I found myself caught off guard, unable to express my intentions. Megan's voice took on a steely edge. "Leave now." With a firm gesture, she directed, "Now, head to your room." Jason's face turned ashen. With no further words exchanged, he pivoted and dashed from the room, the sound of his footsteps reverberating through the hallway. Laura sat there, enveloped in a profound silence. Grappling with the weight of what had just transpired, Laura perched herself on the brink. She lay on her bed, still trembling from the events that had just unfolded. Her heart raced, and the stillness of the room enveloped her like a heavy cloak. She cast a fleeting look at the door, a part of her anticipating Jason's return. Yet the house lingered in an unsettling silence. Her mind replayed the moment over and over, with Jason at the center of it all, his eyes fixed upon her. And that, an awkward, fleeting moment, she felt an unshakable sensation that an unseen force had stirred. A shift had occurred in their connection. It was a nagging thought, one that persisted as she massaged her temples, seeking clarity in the chaos of her mind. A sudden knock on the door creaked open, causing a sudden jolt of surprise. Her mom heard Jason's muffled voice from the other side. Megan's eyes grew wide with wonder. A surge of bewilderment and unease washed over her, flowed gently around her. "What is it that you desire?" she inquired, with a hint of trepidation. I apologize. Jason spoke softly, his words barely escaping his lips. I never intended for it was destined to unfold in that manner." Megan's jaw tightened, her fingers curling into fists. It's time to close your eyes and drift into the realm of dreams. Jason, I seek a moment of solitude. A stillness lingered beyond the door. Then Jason leaned in closer and softly implored, "Please, just let me in for a minute. I have something to share." Lovira paused, caught in a moment of uncertainty. There was a certain quality to his voice. A sense of urgency stirred within her, leaving her feeling unsettled. Yet, despite her wiser instincts, with a weary sigh, she turned the key and opened the door. With a slow, haunting creak, the door opened, revealing Jason. Across the threshold, he averted his eyes from hers. In an instant, his gaze fell to the ground. His posture was rigid, teetering on the edge of discomfort. Jason's voice quivered ever so slightly as he began, "I was unaware. I never intended for the situation to take such an unexpected turn. I apologize." Laura's expression twisted into a curious frown. Her tone cut through the air like a knife. "Do you believe this is merely strange?" Jason let out a heavy sigh, his fingers raking through his hair. "Hear me out. I truly didn't intend to put you in a position of discomfort. I wasn't attempting to. I found myself lost in thought." With a determined stride, Laura advanced into the unknown. "What were you thinking?" she asked, her voice icy. "As the clock strikes midnight, you quietly enter my chamber, casting shadows in the dim light, and gaze upon me as if I weren't seeking your attention intentionally," Jason interjected. In an instant, his face turned a deep shade of crimson, and he gazed, truly distressed by it. "It has just unfolded." Lovira let out a derisive laugh. With her arms crossed, "It unfolded in an unexpected way. Jason, you witnessed me. You witnessed me, partially clothed as if it held no significance for you." Jason's gaze finally rose to her tail. And for the first time, she beheld something wondrous. Beyond the weight of remorse in his gaze, something more sinister. "I never intended to. Yet, it lingers in the mind," Jason whispered softly to himself. Megan felt the sudden tightness in her throat. What do you wish to convey?" Her voice danced softly through the air, a gentle whisper that beckoned the listener closer. "Now." Scarcely a whisper, Jason faltered, his jaw tensing, drawing in. "What I witnessed lingers in my mind, impossible to erase." The atmosphere thickened around them. Rich with unvoiced reflections, drifting in the moment. Annie's creeps into the depths of the soul. Lovira sensed it deeply, creating a masterpiece. Incorrect. There lies a peril that beckons you to depart. At last, she honed her voice to a sharp and resolute edge. "Return to your chamber. Once upon a time, there was a character named Jason. This moment will fade into the shadows of memory." Jason's gaze fell once more. "I cannot." Megan's gaze sharpened. "What did you just say?" "The thoughts linger in my mind, refusing to fade away," Jason murmured softly, as if sharing a secret with the air around him. "Once upon a time, there was a tale waiting to be told about you." The space that lingered between them grew more substantial, dense with unvoiced tales. Whispers of lingering guilt weaved through the air, hinting at something far more unsettling lurking just beyond the shadows. Megan's gaze narrowed, her heart raced, a tempest of fear and anger swirling within her. "It is time for you to depart." She finally let her voice ring out, clear and resolute. "Return to your chamber. Once upon a time, there was a character named Jason. We shall let it fade into the shadows of memory. This has never happened before." Jason's gaze fell once more. "I am unable to do that." Megan's gaze sharpened. "What did you just say?" "It lingers in my mind, an unshakable thought," Jason murmured softly, as if sharing a secret with the shadows. "Once upon a time, there was a tale waiting to be told about you." Megan's breath caught in her throat. "Cease this at once. Simply pause." She averted her gaze, moving thoughtfully toward the window. Her fists tightened at her sides, battling against the heavy cloak of vulnerability that threatened to engulf her. This feels off. Everything that unfolded was beyond reason. Jason trailed behind her. His footsteps were gentle yet purposeful. There's an inexplicable weight to this feeling. A mystery that lingers in the air. Confess. His voice has softened now. Yet, it does. It lingers in my mind. An indelible mark that I cannot simply cast aside. Laura twirled, her eyes alight with a mix of frustration and bewilderment. If you're mine. This is not the usual way of things. This is a matter we cannot simply overlook. Jason's expression grew somber. It began in a way that was far from ordinary. This was not meant to unfold. Megan's heart raced with an intensity that echoed in her ears. The situation unfolded into something unexpected, more ominous. A force beyond her grasp. What is it that you seek from me? She murmured, her voice soft and enchanting, voice trembling. With a deliberate movement, Jason advanced a single step forward. Come nearer. His gaze was piercing. On a quest. I find myself at a loss. A sensation stirs within me, Megan, and it lingers on, refusing to fade into the background. Megan's breath came in quick bursts, her thoughts swirling as she fought to escape the rising dread. This had evolved beyond a mere misunderstanding. This was perilous. You must. Assistance is needed, she declared with conviction, stepping back. You must engage in conversation with. Once upon a time, there was a figure shrouded in mystery. Yet. Jason interrupted her, his voice elevating just a touch. I can manage on my own. I simply require you to grasp this. It's essential for you to perceive it in its true form. Megan's eyes grew wide, a look of disbelief washing over her. What it is my young kin. This is a tangled tale. The choice is not yours to make. This is incorrect. Once upon a time, there was a character named Jason. His face twisted in a grimace, his jaw clenched. It resonates deeply within me. I never wished for it to unfold like this. A sensation stirs within me. Megan's voice quivered with emotion, with a fierce intensity. It's time to put an end to this. Without delay. This is not merely a game. Jason's gaze was firmly fixed upon hers. There exists an element of danger within them, a raw and instinctual essence. She found it impossible to overlook. I simply cannot. His tone had taken on a gentler quality now. Yet, no less resolute. Megan's hands quivered at her sides. She sensed that she was the unraveling. You lack. A decision awaits. You may cease your actions. Jason advanced, his eyes steady and resolute. I regret to say, but I'm uncertain if I can. Megan felt sudden constriction in her chest, prompting her to instinctively take a step back, only to collide with the edge of her bed. Her pulse raced fiercely, a wild rhythm echoing her sense of entrapment and vulnerability. Venture forth, not only in body, but in spirit as well. She spoke softly. Leave now, or I will. Yet, just as she was about to conclude, Jason's voice sliced through the tension. Our paths intertwine at this moment. There is no turning back. The room whirled in a dizzying dance. Megan's breathing grew uneven and strained. Fear grips the heart. Whispers of life stir beneath the surface. She needed to escape the surface. She needed to put an end to this before it spiraled out of control. You are my dear nephew. With a sharp intake of breath, she shook her head, her disbelief palpable in the air. Surely, you can't truly believe what you're expressing. Jason's became gentler. Yet it remained steadfast. I do. And I find myself at a loss, unsure of how to proceed with it. Laura sat still on the edge of her lost in thought. Her mind raced as the weight of Jason's words lingered in the air, overwhelming her. Both thoughts and fears and wine. She was enveloped in a sensation there. She found herself ensnared in a haunting dreamscape, one she couldn't seem to awaken from. Her chest tightened as she glided her fingers through her hair. She sought to understand the rhythm of her breath. She sensed that this was more than a simple misunderstanding. It was a shadowy presence, a thread that seemed poised to come undone, a very thing she had once believed her. The phone buzzed on its stand, drawing attention. A message from her best friend Sarah suddenly appeared, capturing her attention. Once upon a time, there was a character named Sarah. Greetings. Hope, I trust that all is well with you. It's time for us to have a conversation, and it should happen soon. Reach out to me when the moment is right. Laura gazed at the screen, her mind drifting away from the words before her. Her fingers danced above the keys, yet silence enveloped her, leaving her unable to reply. All that occupied Herman's thoughts was Jason, his gaze, his revelation, his gentle caress. How did we arrive at this point? The recollection of their encounter unfolded once more. In her mind, a relentless echo, each detail more vibrant than the one before. The way his gaze lingered on her, the subtle quiver of his hand, those were not errors. It was truly real, and it had come to pass. For there was no turning back. Her thoughts twisted and turned, revealing a deeper, more unsettling truth. It was more than a fleeting mistake. Jason had been observing her, delving into her world longer than she had ever noticed, and now she found herself face to face with a truth she had long hidden away in the shadows of her mind. This was a matter she couldn't simply overlook. It was more than a mere spark of interest. It held a profound essence, something perilous. As Megan's thoughts began to swirl, she caught a fleeting glimpse of movement. Out of the corner of her eye, she caught sight of Jason standing in the doorway. Once more, his expression was a mystery. Yet, there was a certain deliberation in his gaze. This time, an unease lingers. This wouldn't have found its way in here, Jason whispered, shattering the stillness. Laura's gaze snapped upward, her eyes narrowing with intensity. Oh, you really didn't have to do that. Your words were ill-chosen, and they should not have been spoken. You really didn't have to do that. It wasn't my intention for things to unfold in this manner, Jason interjected swiftly, cutting her off. Once upon a time, in a world filled with endless possibilities, there existed a character who was on a journey of self-discovery. Apologies. I find myself at the mercy of it. Megan's fist tightened into resolute balls upon her lap. This is not. There are forces in life that elude our grasp. Jason, this isn't right. Jason's jaw tightened, his eyes deepening into shadows. It felt just right. In the beginning, it seemed just as it should be. You stirred emotions within me, a sensation unlike any I've ever experienced. Laura pulled back, her stomach churning with revulsion. Once upon a time, not an excuse. We are bound by the ties of kinship. I've seen a few, and I can picture it clearly, Jason proclaimed, gently. His words floated through the air, barely a murmur. Yet, I find myself unable to control my emotions. I've never experienced such feelings for anyone before. Megan's breath came in rapid bursts, a tempest of fury and fear swirled within her, each emotion battling for dominance. In this moment, we find ourselves unable to proceed. We can no longer ignore the reality unfolding before us. Jason stepped forward, drawn by an unseen force. His eyes remained locked onto hers, unwavering and intense. Yet, we cannot feign it. There isn't one, either. Laura rose suddenly, her eyes alight with intensity. We must act as if you required to turn my back on this. Cast aside your perceptions and emotions. Jason's lips curled into a subtle, bittersweet smile. It's a bit more complicated than it seems. Megan's heart raced with intensity. It must be that simple. I shall not allow this to tarnish. All that I shall not. Jason's expression deepened, his voice taking on a hushed tone. It cannot be halted. Not at this moment. Megan's fist tightened with determination. I am your aunt. I lifted. How could this come to pass? Jason's eyes sparkled with a hint of mystery, perilous, something that had eluded her gaze until now. It was not solely my experience. It was you as well. Laura swayed, her body quivering with uncertainty. The words struck her with the force of a tempest, tearing through her very being. Every defense I offered, I never intended for it to escalate to this point. Jason's voice faded into the distance, yet the harm had already taken its toll. The tension between Laura and Jason lingered weightily in the atmosphere, choking in the grip of despair. Each whisper and gesture. Lovira moved restlessly, her thoughts swirling as she sought to unravel the meaning of the words that had just been spoken. What had just unfolded? Her breaths came in quick, shallow gasps, and her heart raced fiercely within her chest. How had events unraveled to such an extent? In what manner? Once upon a time, she allowed this. Allow him to come this near. Jason, in contrast, remained still, observing her every action with a focused intensity. His expression held a mystery, a veil that concealed his true thoughts. Yet Laura could perceive the silent battle waging within his gaze. As if he sensed, deep within, that what was done could never be undone. At last, she halted in her steps, turning to confront him. Her voice emerged, crisp and piercing. You are unable to continue on this path, Jason. That's not possible. Jason looked intently. It remained steadfast, even as his jaw clenched tightly. It's not merely a matter I can simply silence. Megan's single quotes gaze sharpened. This is not an emotion meant for you to carry. This doesn't feel correct. This is not right. I understand. Jason spoke gently, his voice just a breath above silence. Yet it does not alter the depths of my emotions. Megan felt a weight in her chest, and tears began to gather at the edges of her eyes. This is not an essence that ought to weave its way through our connection. You are my kin. I nurtured you into who you are today. How can you allow yourself to experience such emotions? Once upon a time, there was a character named Jason. His lips darkened, pressing into a thin line. It unfolded unexpectedly. Yet it did. And now I find myself unable to turn away. If you must continue to resonate with this emotion. Megan's voice rose slightly. Desperation and anger intertwine, creating a potent need. To step back from this before it leads to ruin. We are united. Jason drew nearer. His gaze was unwavering, onto hers. I cannot simply turn my back on you. Laura, reeling backward, the room swirled gently, her thoughts wrestling to grasp the meaning behind his words. You must. Once upon a time, in a world filled with endless possibilities, there existed a unique individual. This person was not just an ordinary being. They possessed a remarkable ability to weave tales that captivated the hearts and minds of all who listened. With every word, they painted vivid pictures, transporting their audience to realms unknown. Their voice danced through the air, enchanting everyone around, as they shared stories that resonated deeply and sparked the imagination. In this enchanting journey, the essence of their spirit shone brightly, illuminating the path for others to follow. And so, the adventure continued, one story at a time. Essential. I shall not allow you to bring destruction to all that we have built. Our clan, our journeys. This has transcended mere emotions. Once upon a time, there was a character named Jason. This is perilous. Once upon a time, there was a character named Jason. S.I.'s demeanor eased for a brief moment. However, once upon a time, in a realm not so far away, there existed an opening within his expression that caused Laura to pause. Fear grips you. It seems that the outcome was never my intention. Yet here we are, faced with the undeniable truth of its existence. Absolutely not, Laura declared with conviction, shaking her head resolutely. We must weave a tale. We must. Jason stands resolute once more. It's just too tardy. I cannot feign that it did not happen. It occurs each time I lay my eyes on you. Every single time. In this moment, it's just us, side by side. I sense it. A connection stirs within us. And it shall remain unwavering. Laura sensed her body stiffen, a gentle swell, a chill of dread enveloping her. "You're destined to be my nephew. This cannot continue. Onward." Jason's voice dropped, enveloping the air in a shadowy hush. "The journey must continue onward. I have already ventured beyond a boundary." Megan's chest heaved as I struggled to find the right words. The words settled in, each one weighing down more than the last. Then, in her final moments, her breathing transformed, unpredictable, her thoughts clamoring for an escape. However, there was no place she couldn't flee from. What had already begun, and she felt it in her bones, was something Jason would not let go of. He simply had to. In the days that unfolded, an unspoken tension lingered in the air. Like a suffocating fog, Laura and Jason navigated their way through the haze that enveloped them. In the ebb and flow of their daily lives, they navigated the world with a careful dance, sidestepping prolonged eye contact and choosing their words with the utmost caution, speaking only when the moment truly called for it. Yet, in spite of their earnest endeavors, the tension remained an unyielding presence. Every look, every fleeting instant shared between them drew them nearer to what was destined to be. One evening, as Laura sat alone in the living room, aimlessly scrolling through her phone, Jason quietly entered the room. His footsteps were deliberate, almost hesitant, and Laura kept her gaze fixed on the screen. Though she sensed his presence nearby, it felt as if her body had an innate awareness of his presence, sensing him even before he arrived. At last, Jason found his voice, soft yet strained, as the moment called for words to be spoken. Lovira gently set the phone upon the coffee table. With her arms crossed and a steady gaze, she turned to face him, declaring, "We've already talked enough." "Jason, absolutely not." He urged me to come nearer, "for we have yet to express what truly needs to be said." Megan felt her heart race within her chest. She sensed the noose tightening around her, the shadows creeping closer. "What remains to be spoken, Jason?" Such a turn of events is truly unexpected. It defies all logic. Jason halted directly before her, his face etched with a profound intensity. "It is of no consequence what ought to be, or what ought not to be. What truly holds significance is that it is unfolding before us, and we can no longer turn a blind eye to it." Megan's jaw clenched, her fingers fidgeting at her sides. "Yet, it can be set aside. We must choose to overlook it. It's the sole path to safeguard all that matters. We possess our kin, our tranquility. Once upon a time, there was a character named Jason. I tempered his voice, almost shattering. "Yet, it resonates with authenticity. It is indeed true." Laura trembled, her voice quivering with emotion. But it seems we find ourselves in a realm where the unexpected stirs within us, a sensation we were told to avoid. It was never destined to be. At times, Jason would softly say, "Not everything adheres to the rules. At times, they shatter them, and perhaps this, what we sense, was never destined to unfold." As the gravity of his words lingered in the air, dense and unyielding. Lovira experienced, her breath caught in her throat, unable to look away from him. Jason whispered, her voice quivering. "It is not possible." Yet, Jason extended his hand with a gentle touch, his fingers gliding softly over hers. His touch was both gentle and firm, a delicate balance that spoke volumes. "We already have." Megan's breath, her body hitched, trembling beneath his touch. For a moment, she allowed herself to truly feel the secret flame that continued to flicker, an irresistible attraction woven between them. The longing enveloped her, yet the truth crashed down like a sudden wave of icy water. With a swift motion, she pulled her hand back, retreating a step in haste. This transcends our own tale now. It transcends that. If someone discovers it, and they know, I will go to any lengths to ensure it remains hidden." Jason spoke, his voice a quiet yet resolute whisper. "I will not allow anything to come between us. Not now. Not ever. Megan's heart raced with a fierce intensity. Within her heart, a tremor of dread and yearning, wearing deep within her. You just don't understand, Jason. This is beyond our control. It's already unraveling. Regardless of our efforts, we are headed straight for a clash. And I'm not sure if we can put an end to it. Jason moved in a little closer once more. His voice, now a gentle whisper, carried a hint of desperation. Perhaps our destiny is to confront it side by side. Megan's eyes brimmed with tears as she gently shook her head, a silent testament to her heart's turmoil. It holds no significance what our purpose may be. What truly holds significance is what is just. And this just doesn't feel right. We have the power to set things straight. Jason passionately defended his viewpoint. In our time of need, we shall uncover a path forward. Absolutely not. Laura's voice cut through the air, trembling with determination. We shall not, and we shall not. I shall not allow us to tread that path. Compensate Jason. As the weight of the world pressed down, shoulders sagged slightly, a glimmer of surrender across his visage. What unfolds next if we continue to turn a blind eye? What unfolds if we endeavor to forge ahead? Laura inhaled deeply, striving to calm the tumult of her feelings. We journey onward. We weave a tale where it never occurred. We weave a tale that none of you ever existed. Once upon a time, there was a character named Jason. As he gazed, his jaw dropped, gripped with intensity. Yet, it is not that. Plain and straightforward. No. Lovira spoke softly. Her voice, it was never meant to be broken. With that, she pivoted gracefully, her steps leading her toward the door, departing from Jason, lingering in the stillness. For the time being, their bond was cut, leaving a silence in its wake. Yet, she felt a stirring within, a whisper of truth that this was not the end, but merely the dawn of a fierce conflict that would unfold between them, a battle they would both need to engage in endlessly. Once upon a time, in a world where the days stretched endlessly, there was a tale waiting to unfold. They existed. What do you believe unfolds? What will Jason do next? Will he surrender? Or will he discover a path to battle for what they? How does it resonate with you? No matter the cost, share your reflections in the comments.